Hi, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update for everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wak Wak Attack. This is episode 102 on December 21st. It's nearly Christmas, so let's get started with this community update. So yesterday, I missed it in yesterday's episode, but there was Rocket Pool bi-weekly update that was released by Maverick, and let's go through some of the details really quickly. So protocol update over the last 2 weeks. Our ETH supply has grown 3.3%, mini pool count has grown 3.8%, effective RPL stake has grown 1.1%, and node operator count has grown 5.2%. So those are all great numbers. Overall, it's like the big metrics are pretty much annualized growth of 100%, which is absolutely fantastic. Even though, the market's quite like in bear market doldrums, there's still our ETH supply growing, there's still mini pool count growing, and node operator count is growing as well. And as the ratio goes up, then effective RPL goes down, but even that's growing too, which is fantastic. And the ratio's been kind of flat. So let's have a look. It says smart node beta testers on Proteus can now upgrade to version 1.8.0. and it will add support for Lodestar and Nimbus split process mode. Please don't try to run this on mainnet. Of course, version 1.7.2 looks like it will be out either this week or next week, hopefully soon. So that's exciting. I think the 1.8, Joe's still working on some updates to come through before he pushes that to mainnet. It might be in January, I think that'll happen. So R&D, this is the proprietary Rocket Pool RETH router build, is now complete and undergoing optimization prior to installation in the stake.rocketpool.net website. So this is something that we talked about a few times over the last few weeks, where the team wanted to change the front end for the staking site so it would use DEXs as well as the contracts to get the best rates. So now that is complete and undergoing testing. So that is actually like a huge user experience upgrade, which I'm really happy about. This was the key bit of information that I've been waiting for a while, and we get it now. It says Sigma Prime's audit of the Atlas protocol upgrade is now complete. All of the minor findings have been subsequently resolved. So I don't know if there's major findings too, so that's something interesting right there, but hopefully not. I think it might just mean that all of the findings that were major that were minor have been resolved. So I'm not sure exactly what that language means exactly, but I'm taking an optimistic reading of it and saying that there were only minor issues and they've been resolved. Consensus will commence their audit of Atlas in 3 weeks' time. So just after Christmas, I think it's January 9th is what Langers was saying. But that it might be a few days before or after that. Both reports will be made available for your perusal once the entire Atlas audit procedure is finished. So I think what that might shift the timeline now towards the end of February more than the middle of February for Atlas. And this is how I'm thinking of it in my mind, right? So Sigma Prime take 2 weeks to audit, then the team will work on their findings, and then they will submit the updated stuff to consensus in the second week of January, it looks like. Then they will take about 2 weeks to do their findings, which will bring us up to pretty much the end of January, the last week of January. And then I think the community will probably get maybe a month to mess around with things in testing, at which point they'll realize everything is good and we'll go live at the end of February. So those, like, I'm not exactly sure of those times, but that's just kind of how I'm thinking in my mind. I was telling people that I'd be here in the middle to end of February, but I think now I will start telling people it'll be here at the end of February instead. So just to keep expectations realistic, of course, we don't have a date when Atlas will go live, but that's just what I'm thinking. And then initial scoping work for the post Atlas upgrade is already underway, which is really exciting. And Ken got some information about that on the call that we're going to talk about next. So governance, there's rewards tree spec stuff that's happening. There's proposals being received from Uniplot and Sharp to manage Rocket Pool's concentrated liquidity on Uniswap version 3. So kind of following in the footsteps of Gamma. And Sasal successfully joined the ODAO. The ODAO thing brought up some interesting things, but we'll talk about that later as well. Integrations, if you are providing liquidity with Aura, please change your vault because it will impact your position. You'll stop getting rewards. Open Ocean that we talked about is now using the contract. Interest Protocol now supports RETH as collateral. Play to earn game Halls Olympia now supports RETH and Arbitrum. That's cool. Coinbase launches trading. We obviously discussed, we talked about that a lot. And Warden Finance published RFC for Euler to consider integrating RETH. And then media and marketing. If you're attending EthDenver and want to participate in Rocket Pool activities, please complete this Google form via the protocol announcement channel on Discord to help with our planning. And then there's a link to the Discord channel. Over 2/3 of eligible recipients have submitted their preferred address to claim the Atlas Research Git POAP. If your name is on the list, please DM Maverick. I've already done that. I guess about 10 people maybe have not done that yet. So if you are listening to this, check the link here that's in the description to go to the protocol channel update and check if your name is on there. There are a few people whose names are on there that are not that active in the community at the moment, so go and check that and see if your name's on there, because you might miss out on the POAP. The anniversary raffle was conducted. 450 RPL were given away by the generous POAP team through Superfizz. Wack Wack Attack conducted its 100th episode raffle with over $2,000 of prizes were given away. So that was a couple of days ago from me. And of course, almost all the prizes were generously donated by community. The Rocket Pool intern is joining the raffle giveaway bandwagon too, which is really cool to see. And there's a link to the Twitter for the intern. Last week's community call featured special guests from Gamma Strategies. Fascinating discussion about concentrated liquidity on Uniswap version 3. Rocket Pool was featured on the list compiled by Bankless about 5 protocols building in the bear market. A community member released videos on how to secure your node, and that was Lee. Good job, Lee. Rocket Pool will be part of the State of DeFi report from Oasis, which is great. The community banded together to get me a smoke detector, of course. A report by Cryptopedia featuring RPL, and Lang was quoted in the Forbes article that we covered on Rocket Fuel as well. So that was all the stuff from the bi-weekly update, which was nice to get all that information. One thing, Mav, if you're watching this, because I know this works with Joe now, so if you're watching this, one of the things that I'd like to see on this is I like how, we've got the annualized growth numbers, but it'd be nice to see how much we've grown over the last year. So if we can get the date, if we can get the numbers from, that this week last year, see how much we've gone up or down by. Of course, up in all these metrics, but how much we've gone up by, I think that would be a really nice tool for people in the community to see. So that might be a nice little add-on for that list. Okay, so then as always with the bi-weekly report, we get the community call that came through. So Ken hosted that. It featured Maverick and Langers. You can go to the Twitter link that I'm talking about here to share, to have a look at it. We did get some alpha in the space. So Ken was in trading at the same time, saying community call, come and join us, ask questions. Or not alpha, maybe but breadcrumbs. One of the pieces of information that came through was that we are trying to onboard 2 new ODAO members who are very well known in the crypto ecosystem. One of them has indicated yes, and the other one has indicated that they're still trying to find out what's next. Let me go back a step. So Sasal got onboarded, and the next 2 to get onboarded are going to be Gitcoin and the Rocket Pool rocket scientists. And then after that, there's 2 more organizations or groups or people, I don't know, who have been approached, who are very well known. So I think that'll be quite exciting that they'll be doing that. If you go back to this thread right here, then you can follow along with the community space. As trading was talking about it, there were some interesting jokes about FTX being the new ODAO. So that was great. But there was lots of like little pieces of like breadcrumbs in the community call, so it's worth going back and listening to it. And I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Ken right now, because he always shows me so much love in the calls when he's hosting them. So thank you so much, Ken. I truly do appreciate it. But yeah, let's move on from that. So this thing happened that I started booking stuff for Denver. So Sneaky says, Waka, are you going to be rocket fueling at Denver? I said yes, just paid for accommodation. I'm just about to pay for my flight right now. So the flight has now been paid for, it's booked. I arrive on Friday morning and leave on Sunday evening. So it's a very quick visit. And I said here that I didn't apply for my ticket, but I've also now applied for my ticket. So that's really cool. And then there were some questions about, every day, like, I'm coming, I'm going, I'm coming, I'm going. So what's going on? So I said, I'm going, and flights are booked, paid for accommodation, waiting for ticket info. So I completed the form to apply for the ticket, and I'm just waiting to hear back whether I've been accepted or not. And then I said, here's the story about why my story's been changing. So I wasn't able to come in the beginning because of a personal thing. Then that changed and I was able to come, and I got very excited. Then the different personal thing came up and meant I couldn't go. And now I figured a way around that second personal thing. So I'm coming. So I'll be staying in the rocket pool house that Zero has organized. I think there's still some spots left in that house. So reach out to Zero if you are interested in staying with cool people. And you can get put onto that list. There's also the main EthDenver thread that you can visit, where people are talking about EthDenver. And then there's a thread for attendees where people are organizing stuff to do in Denver. And then there was a thread for Airbnb selection. So yeah, I think that's already done now. So I don't know if both have been booked for the retreat and for the conference, but definitely the conference part has been booked, and I already paid Zero my share of that. So that's really exciting. Okay, next thing is Joe's working on the Proteus. Of course, I've been covering it every day, but yesterday he showed the finished version of the fanless case that he got done for testing, I guess. So he printed a rocket fuel logo on the front of it with my face, which is really cool. It looks amazing. Joe shared lots of pictures of the fan case compared to the fanless case. So as you can see, the fanless case on the left is a lot sleeker than the fan case on the right, which has like a big like added chunk on top for the fan. But they both look really good. And then there's a picture view from the top that you can see here, and the bottom side of both of them, and then another front view, and then there's a back view. And the bright green strip is because it's the stock. That's the stock one. So that's the plate that Joe got rid of for the printing. And as you can see, like these little holes in the front, they're really tiny on the left sides of the boxes. Those are like for the power and the SD cards. So the original stock box that it came in was actually like really cumbersome to use. So Joe made like a power plug like this. Look, so if you can see it on the screen, it's like he made like a little add-on as a power button, so it makes it a lot easier to use. But it's looking really good. And Joe says that he will those holes aren't for LEDs, they're for power and recovery mode option buttons. So that no one's going to be turning off the power by accident on the original mode, but on Joe's mode you can remove that button if you want to. So yeah, the power button is removable for people who want to remove it, but it's really cool. So it's looking really good. I'm really excited to see Joe starting to play around with it. So then he posts, I'm the dumbest man alive. And then there were some issues with, that's not actually Proteus issues, I don't think. That's more about something else, Besu. So sorry, I don't know why that link got in there. It's in the wrong place. But one of the things he talked about in, I think that was, let me see if that was yesterday or was that the day before. Oh yeah, yesterday. Okay, so yesterday in Rocket Fuel, I asked a question about the software that it's going to come with, and Joe says regarding your question today, no, I'm not preloading an EC or a CC just yet, just a smart node stack. You get to pick the clients yourself, and then he explains that it's not really quicker to sync because instead of doing a snap sync, it will do a full sync from where it left off, and a full sync is way slower than a snap sync. So it's better to just snap sync from scratch if your chain data is like more than 4 days old. So that makes a lot of sense. So it definitely explains my question. And then I said to Joe, it's funny how I can ask you a question in the episode and you answer it. So that was really funny. Okay, and then Joe creates this thing, which is really cool. He says, whack, whack, attack. I made you a thing. And it is a new emoji for me, which is black whack, which is the version printed on the front of the... I don't think people have seen it yet on trading if they want in there overnight. So I just posted it. But yeah, it says a media thing, and it's a new emoji called Black Whack. So it's like the face, but now I have two emojis on the Discord server, which is really awesome. So thanks, Joe, for making that. Oh yeah, so going back to that, he says, I'm testing 1.7.2 now and getting it ready for Proteus, but when I'm done, I'll put it together and the demo vids of this stuff and start working on the thread. So it should be the next couple of days that everything's ready, which is really exciting. And oh yeah, that's the thing that Joe made for me. Was there something else there? No, that was it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So thank you for that, Joe. Okay, so finally, we're going to finish with this info from Patches about the rescue node, and Patch is kind of wondering if solo validators can use the rescue node and kind of thinking of what they'll have to do to use it. So there's options of registering a node, staking RPL to be determined, using MEV boost, obviously, because the rescue node will be using MEV boost, I think. And we said maybe we make 2 an explicit requirement, some minimum value staked in order to use it. And then it's like Dougie saying like 1% and they get it back. And then people saying, like Patch is saying, as today it's not required, but you could withdraw it if we did make it required, since you have no money pools. And Lee says, do you have the amount of time listed somewhere that an individual is able to use the rescue node? And then Patch says that it's for 15 days increment, and you get 4 of those per year, which is 60 days, 2 months out of 12 months of using the rescue node if you need to. I think that should cover almost all pruning, all the database corruption stuff. So that's really great that they're doing that. We'll have that covered. And then Duki said, how does it actually work? How do you stop someone from installing malicious software, etc.? I should read any of the rescue node stuff. And Patch says it's just a beacon node that has a username and password requirement, similar to how Infura used to work when you used it as a fallback on your smart node stack before that was turned off. And he says the username and password are given to you after you sign a message with your node wallet, and are good for 15 days. Since you're just setting as a fallback in the TUI, it can't install software on your node. If you mean how do we stop people from installing software on the rescue node, well, Popash is a security node and it's going to be incredibly locked down and actively monitored. Only a few people will have access, and they will be publicly known individuals. So far it's just me, Popash and Ken, who are all real name doxed. I don't actually know Popash's name, but I know Ken Smith and Jacob as well. So yeah. And then A35U says, wouldn't that really complicate the tree gen? And Patches tree gen would do trivially more work since they don't get rewards, but possibly if too many of them are registered. And A35U says, what would be their commission? And undefined, they have no mini pools. And how would TreeGen know if they're opted in and out? MEV uses commission though, doesn't it? So there's still questions that are coming up. So then let's skip ahead a little bit where Joe asked, Patches asked Joe, he says, hey Joe, top of your head, would it be a nuisance if a bunch of people registered nodes without the intention of launching mini pools? And Joe says, nuisance to who? And Patchy says, the protocol, the team, the ODAO, anyone really, is currently a valid way to get access to the rescue node, and I'm trying to ascertain if we should have additional requirements like RPL staked or at least one mini pool or something. And then Joe says, the protocol won't care. I don't see why the team would, other than artificially inflating stats. ODAO definitely won't care since they won't be eligible for anything. And Patchy says, won't slow down tree gen meaningfully. And Joe says, no, tree gen slowness is per mini pool, and they don't have mini pools. Patchy says, right, okay. And then Joe says, Up to you guys whether or not you want to gate it behind some kind of subscription, so to speak. And Patchy says I'll probably leave it in place and we'll just not advertise it as a path for access. And then Joe says it makes sense. It makes sense too if the intent is for the rescue node to be funded via grant money, aka RPL. And Patchy says it's the same path to hybrid node operator was used for their solo VC, so keeping it is nice. And Joe says okay. So I just kind of like read out this whole conversation, but you can go and read it all yourself. It kind of just finishes there. But on that note, I'm going to finish today's episode. I hope you all have a good hump day. And I've got a special thing happening tonight that I will share with you all tomorrow. And I'm really excited about it. And I've been teasing it quite a lot because I think it's just that cool. So have a great day, everyone. Yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.